Welcome to the Tom Castro Shooting Academy podcast. You have now entered the next level. Your hit factor is definitely, so here's the thing. A lot of people, they want that like home run feeling when they skip stuff, right? Like, so like if I'm not going to shoot at it, I better win by 50 points. That's not how it works at my level. That's not how it works at Corey's and Jason's level when it comes to Grandmaster World. You are looking for points, 5 points, 6 points, 7 points. You're looking for a win, period. You're not looking for that grand slam because you're not going to find it, right? It's very rare to get anything over a 5 or 6% win on a stage at all, right? So I learned my lesson this year about that. I used to think, oh my God, these guys, I'm going to get one. There isn't one. There isn't one. If you get one, trust me, they know you got it, right? Because it's very rare that anybody gets a huge gap on anybody at that level. It's just not there. So I remember Max coming up to me and going, hey man, which one of these stages are going to get us by 14% today? And I go, what do you mean? So cause I'm not paying attention like that. He goes, well, the last 2 days you've got us by 14%, at least on one stage. I'm going, really? I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Except for I dropped 50 points per mess up on 2 different stages on those 2 days. So it was like, well, there goes all the extra effort I put into those stages. So it's like the fact that, he's noticing those 2 stages. It's like, oh, okay. So like that is rare. Again, I'm talking to a guy who's got 7 national championships. You shut the hell up and listen to that guy, right? He's pretty good. I shot with that guy and he's pretty damn good. The crazy part is he shot 1 penalty for the entire match. 1. And it was a trivial penalty on the, what do you call it, stage.
We did the standards. He and I did the exact same thing. You shot 5.
Yes.
We both shot 5 on the last string.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
No.
It was pretty.
You
actually.
do the same thing again for the 3rd time.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty funny that as he goes, there goes my clean match, I guess. And I was
but I'll tell you what he did, and it's what he did and what I did are the exact same thing, and it's both big brain time. Is when when you're shooting a 2-second string, you recognize what you did, and you only fire 3 on the back half. That way you get 1 penalty instead of 2.
Yeah, he did. Listen, that guy's very smart. He's a national champion for a reason. I mean, he's kicking the shit out of everybody for a reason.
I'm talking about me. I did the same thing.
Well, you're very smart, Jason. You're so smart that you're dumb enough to shoot an extra shot. Freaking Virginia count trash.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. You just rip the gun.
You don't want to. So that stage, so we'll talk about it. Let me pull it up real quick because this was probably one of the most disappointing stages on the matchbook. I was like, this is dumb. But it ended up becoming a very good stage. It was a fun stage. Let me rephrase that. Now, I will say, I probably would not have felt the same if I was shooting an open gun, but shooting a rifle is pretty solid when you're shooting 25 yards. Then when you have a strong hand at 15 yards, that actually is you holding the gun with both hands on the, standard shooting.
Yep.
And then you go up to 10 yards and you shoot left-handed, which is a chip shot, right? I shot that stage very well. I worked on long distance before we left for nationals a lot. Like Christina and Craig and I all had this pretty amazing 2-day practice. Well, Craig and I had 1 day really amazing. Christina showed up late. Oh man, I know that's crazy. And then day 2,
my tire blew.
So then day 2, we all practiced together and had a great day. Craig left early, so Christina and I crushed it in the second half, and we worked on long distance. So when I got to the 25-yard target, I ripped it, and I had 1 Charlie on that target. So I go to.
I was ripping it.
I got so then we go into the next position. I shoot 1 close Charlie, rip that stage, have good reloads, everything. I get to the last one, and I'm like, I didn't bring a lot of magazines for 8 reloads, so I hope I don't drop this. Obviously, I'm not thinking that, but oh yeah, I threw it about 6 feet on the reload and had to go chase and get it. It was, I was like, this is deep class right here.
I'm looking at your stage trying to figure out where the story's going. Yeah, so.
It was bad. I threw it. Oh, trust me, I will be posting
at the match. You did it at the match.
Oh yeah,
you did. You had an extra though, didn't you?
Yeah, way in the back. It was a big stick, and I did not realize I had it on me. And I brought it just in case something crazy happened.
Amateur hour, Tom.
Oh, it was. Listen, I'm 10th place for a reason.
His third string was almost longer than the winner's complete stage.
Yes. So I went back and kind of changed my time around. Another stage loss or stage win thrown away.
Yeah.
So if I just go, so I lost.
Sucks
3 or 4 stages. I lost 3 or 4 stages at this match from just untimely mistakes. It pretty much sucked. I've shot, this was the best match I've ever shot in my life. Like I felt so calm, so good. I mean, my accuracy, I was walking away from stages like, what did they just say? 3, holy shit, no way. Like really? I had 2 all alpha stages. That is not me. That's not usually my forte. And I was just like, so calm. Like Corey, I got to bring this up, dude, because it really made me laugh. Cause I sometimes when I come up and ask you how you do, you really irritate me because you're so positive. Like you're like that. It always reminds me of like, you're full of shit, Corey, but it's okay. I'll keep going with this. Good job. So I'll come up to Corey and go, how you doing, bro? He's like, I'm just having fun. I'm doing good. I'm having fun. I'm like, you're full of shit, Corey. You're full of shit. You suck. And you're probably shooting like shit, but you're doing good, right?
I'm trying to talk myself into it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was
Corey
exactly
what he does. It's exactly what he does. So it's awesome. Like, I love it. I'm like, I don't ever want to, rain on that parade. I'm glad that you're positive. So you come up to me after a stage where I think it was after I threw my magazine and you go, well, how the hell are you doing that right now? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you're fucking laughing and joking and you're like coaching and like, I'm like, well, first of all, what am I going to do? Like, I can't go get my magazine back out of the air and put it in the gun properly. It's gone. It's gone. I can't do anything about it. I got other stages to shoot. I said, but the most important thing to me is I don't want to bring the squad down. Like, I don't want to be that guy who bitches and complains about my shooting in front of everybody and ruin the day for everybody, because it's not their fault that I sucked or made a mistake or whatever it is. And I actually remember like some people from the women's super squad, they looked at me and were like, yeah, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, well, people probably should think about other people a little bit more in our sport, and you probably see a different attitude around here. But it's just, I remember being on a squad where somebody was like that. I mean, they were just throwing a temper tantrum every single stage. It was just having a bad match in general.
Like,
and I was like, bro,
you have to like tiptoe.
Yeah, this is no. Well, you know me, Mr. Tiptoe. I was like, get out of here, bro. You're trash. Like, this is trash. Don't act like that. Like, you're ruining the day for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's not everybody else's fault that you suck or you're shooting like shit. I'm the only one that controls my shooting. So that's the way I look at it. So I try to come with a positive attitude, at least even when I'm not happy with myself. But it was just funny because I was like, well, isn't everybody like this, or aren't they supposed to be? So it was an interesting moment.
Well, you weren't always like that either, Tom, and you have grown.
Yeah, but you know what? I have been like that. I've been mad at myself. Like, I would probably verbally, I would voice my opinion about myself a lot more before, right? Like, so one of the things that I've always had issues with is I would be upset with myself and somebody would get pissed at me for being mad at myself. Still don't quite understand that.
You would yell at yourself, you suck, Tom, or something like that.
Yeah, I got a bad reputation in Florida for being a hothead because I would yell at myself. Yeah. Okay. I was like, that made a lot of sense. But I mean, I guess I'm just a dick to myself. So, God forbid, I must be like that to everybody. So it never made sense. But, that's what I've had to deal with. So I just kind of tone it down a little bit.
I've never seen you yell at anybody at a match, ever.
It's not anybody else's fault, dude, that I sucked. It's like, doesn't make sense. I mean, it's like, I don't take it out on anybody else. It's on me. And but that's how I work. That's how I motivate myself. Like, if I get upset about my own self, I pay attention more, right? I get on myself and I hold myself to a higher standard that way. If I just go, man, if I was like Corey, I would keep sucking. Corey, it works for him. But for me, if I was like, man, you're doing awesome, and I just kept doing what I was doing, I just keep shooting penalties.
See, if Tom's shooting bad at a match, that's my opportunity to dig the knife in and twist it. Like that's
and they
right.
do.
I'm like, yeah, Tom,
they
you
do.
suck so much. Be better.
And they do. You should see.
I'll be like, I didn't do that. I
Yeah.
did that
Stage 9.
much better.
this has to be one of the worst matches to be friends with these two idiots, because I am super down on myself. I'm super upset with myself, and they won't shut the hell up about, you did good. You did so good, man. You're so great. You did. I'm like, I didn't do shit.
I don't think I said that.
That's true. You did. You kicked me when I was down. It really hurt. Like it was deep cuts.
I did remind you of
Good.
stage 9 again. I reminded you about stage 9.
You got lucky on stage 9. It was an unloaded start, and I don't have magazines that work.
So speaking of unloaded starts, we got time for one more favorite because I got one.
Yeah, go.
Stage 17, the one right before this one. Unloaded table start for PCC and a left lean. Challenges all the things most people stink at.
Hold on, let's get to it. Stage
yeah.
17.
I sucked at the left lean on that one.
This one. I say this one as I haven't hit share yet, like a dummy.
That was
You
Bruce Wells' stage, right?
I'm an
Yeah,
expert.
that was Bruce. That was Bruce's stage.
Yep.
So so unloaded start. It was like an awkward heels on start position, which everybody gamed and was kind of twisted around. So that part's not interesting. But what I really liked was the first array let you go all out, activator, steel, solid, static paper, and then the clamshell. That was the way to shoot it, but it gave people options. If they didn't have the ability or confidence to do that, they could kind of tone it down a little bit and lose time. And then so that was a drag race. You run around and then you got to hit a spot, left lean, another activator. And
How did
again,
you shoot
can
that stick? How did you shoot the front section, the first one? Did you shoot steel, paper?
static paper, and then clam?
All right. I did not do
Yep.
that.
Come on,
What?
Tom, you got to live, bro. You can do it.
So listen,
You can do it, Tom.
first of all,
So I'll say this. Initially, I was like, all right, I think that was a little too aggressive. But then I watched a couple people shoot it, and I'm like, there's no reason not to do it this way.
I was
what-
the
what made
second
you do it
shooter.
then?
I was the second shooter.
That'll do it.
And
I'll
I
do it.
shot behind Chris. Why am I brain? What's Chris's last name, brother?
Barrett.
You didn't shoot her on
Thank
the
you.
third
Barrett.
day.
So I shot behind Chris Barrett, and
About a million
he
people
did
shot
not
that
shoot
already.
it well, right? So I didn't get a good,
Okay.
like he shot some makeup shots in there, and he was super aggressive on it, and I didn't see like
Mhm.
the timing very well. So I'm like, all right, it's not worth it to me because I don't know. After I shot it, I was like, I'm literally running away. I'm like, I could have shot it the other way.
Idiot.
Right. So I run to the front. And I wasn't mad. I didn't feel like I waited a super long time, but my focus on it was alphas. So, cause I knew,
Yep.
all right, I might lose a little time doing it this route, but I'm going to guarantee hits here. So I got alphas on the front section. And when I ran to the front, my only focus, right. And it's a little crazy, but my only focus was to look at the fault line. I didn't
Yep.
care about shooting until I put my foot on that fault line.
Yeah,
And
if you
that
miss your
was the
spot,
key.
doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, if you miss the
And
spot,
that was
doesn't
the
matter.
key. Yep. That was the key for me on that stage. It was big for me. It really, really was. I ended up third over with all alphas on that stage.
This is a simple stage, but that's why I like it. It was all about execution. It was how aggressive you chose to shoot that front array, how fast you were able to slam that load, and then how fast you could hit your spot and get gun up in that front left corner.
So let's talk about, like, I have the scores pulled up real quick on this stage. This is interesting. This is what I was just talking about a little bit earlier about how you don't get big giant win a stage here. So Nils won that stage, sandbagger, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Nils won that stage with 12 is at 971. Josh Freilich shot it at 12 is at 977, had a 614 hit factor. Nils had a 617. I shot it with all 980, a 612. Nils had 60 points. Josh had 59. I had 59. The next guy below me,
Mhm.
Green, at 58 points, and a 58, a 58, a 57. So this is the part where people don't understand. You're not kicking guys' asses at that level. You're literally bleeding each other to death. You're just little cuts, little slight. God, I got a couple points from the guy. Got a little couple points from the guy. It's when you drop 20 or 30 points that it's like, yeah, I won that stage. It's just they don't come very often.
Pretty much the top 10 competitors were within 10 points of the winner. So yeah, but it again comes back to execution because you drop too many points. God forbid you throw a mic or catch a no shoot. Game over, right? Like that stage goes from being all right, an 85%er that's not really going to hurt me to a 50%er.
So the only stage
again, it's not a ton of points, but
yep. The smallest stage that I just absolutely irritated me to death because I walked up to that stage saying I need good hits here, and I'm going to pull it up real quick here, was the unloaded table start sitting on a chair. I think it was 7 or no, it was 8. It was 8 or 9.
I whiffed the road on that one, and I still have a bruised knuckle from that.
Oh, okay. I'm pulling it up right now. There you go. Screen. Come on, baby. Share this one right here. Okay. Share. All right. This one right here. This actually became a table start. So you'll kind of see there's a blue mark on the paper. There's a chair and a table start, and then you ran to the right. It's as pretty close to what we had, but it's, a little bit different. So for this specific stage, I walked up. This was our first stage of day 2. And I walked up to this stage and I was like, you got alphas. You got to get alphas. You got to get alphas. It's points. There's nothing here, right? Points wise. So you need alphas. You can't drop a lot of points here. Yeah, that didn't happen. I shot a shit ton of Charlies. I think I shot 5 Charlies on that. It was, what was it? 9. It'd be a 9. Yeah. 8.5. And I was 9.66. So my time was good, right? I mean, it's
I think
enough.
My time was that I boogied on that stage and I dropped a shit ton of points, but I got the time in, which like an actual competitive time for way higher than my level. So it's a step in the right direction, but I dropped points like crazy and it pissed me off. I don't like that.
Just shot it. I wasn't even aggressive. Like it wasn't worth the 5 chart. Like I walked away from that stage like, what the like I didn't even like go attack it to get shitty hits. Like I felt so slow the whole time. I was like, I should have been getting great hits here. And I don't know. I just didn't pull the gun. It was my first stage of the day. It was the morning session. We didn't warm up. So I never actually felt the gun, which is fine. That I don't need that normally, especially with a rifle. I don't think I spent a lot of time in the dry fire section on the morning. I really don't. I walked around a lot. I walked stages a lot, but I don't think I spent a lot of time with the fundamentals on that stage. That might've been what it was, but I went to the very next stage, which was stage 7, because we went 8 first. We went to 9 first for us because they split our squad. And then I went 8 after, and that's the very next stage. I went all alphas and won the stage, 11:52 was my time. So it's like, what was I doing? Like, where's my brain? But the next stage, I'm like, well, I'm not going to mess this one up. It's like, you got to have that. You cannot have laps against these top hitters. You just can't. They're not going to make them. They're going to be very consistent. So it's just, I learned a lot at this match. I really did. I'm actually really glad that, I'm probably saying this out loud to make myself feel better. I'm kind of glad I got my ass kicked. It really does. It wakes me up every time I get my ass kicked. I come to the next match ready to go. Like my last few practices have been, feel pretty good. So see how it goes. It's just those mental moments of, am I even at nationals right now? It's like, it doesn't make sense sometimes. It's really crazy. But I don't know. All right. One other thing I wanted to talk about, I got a couple different things, little small things. The one more stage I want to talk about, which stage, I think it was 13. It's the unloaded start Virginia count par time stage. It's this one right here. Is that 13? Yeah, 13. Okay, cool.
Fixed time. We don't really need to talk about it if you don't want.
No, I do want to talk about it. There's a couple different things about this stage that is let's talk first about the start. It was starting out of bounds on a part-time stage. Sucks, by the way, because
Yes.
you are already short on time. That's the first. So there's a couple of different things that they did that they added a lot of challenges to the stage before they ever hit the beat. First, they
Right.
made it a part-time. Second, they made it out of bounds. And third, which is actually the biggest thing that I didn't like, or I should say I didn't like, but it was the biggest challenge, was it was an unloaded start. The thing, the part-time guys, if you haven't shot one yet, and if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend you use a part-time and just put 9 seconds on your timer and listen to how long it is, because it's a long, long time. But not when you're shooting a stage, not when you have an unloaded start, not when you have to step inbound, not when there's a swear, a stomp pad. Can we just talk about how awkward that stomp pad was?
Oh, it was super
Under the
awkward.
wall.
Yeah.
It was the worst freaking play for that stomp pad, but I think they did a good job putting it there because it made you like focus on how to get it. Right? It wasn't just a simple, I'm going to run by this. You were either jammed up against it, got it on the draw, shot. You could hit that thing 3 different ways and still have an efficient exit.
It wasn't just the positioning, it was also the mechanism. It wasn't, you had to actually step towards the front left side of that thing to properly activate.
Underneath the wall. Yeah, it was underneath the wall. It wasn't in the shooting where activation was. It was underneath the wall a little bit to get to the center of that activator. I thought about throwing a mag at it.
I did a mag drop.
Yeah. Did you?
I did.
Did you get it?
I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was.
Nice.
I didn't have enough mags, so I threw them all in dirt on the last one. So I didn't.
the rest of the stage, I mean, the stage was fine. I ended up I pulled a penalty on this one too. I had an overtime shot at 10.02. Or yeah, because they did, it was actually a 970 fixed time, and then you got the 0.3 buffer. So yeah, I was at 10.02 and caught a penalty on this one.
They had a so a lot of people's stages get absolutely wrecked because of the unloaded start.
Yeah.
That unloaded start was brutal. But again, we'll talk about the rules of this stage in a second. This stage had 3 different starts that you could do here. Obviously, the unloaded start was the same for everyone. The start position was the same, but you could attack this front port or skip the front port or enter the front port or exit the front port. There were all these different ways to shoot that port. I was like, this is a pretty damn good stage, even though it's loaded start, and I got to start unloaded here with no time. So it was interesting. I really like the stage. I didn't get to my last target. I actually ended up watching the video. I got stuck on the fault line in the front. I think my leg just kind of locked up. I was starting to fall forward. Like I was starting to fall forward, it looks like, and I didn't want to step on the fault line. So like my leg locked and I couldn't stand up to run. And it was our last stage of the day for 3 days of shooting. I was like, yeah, it didn't work. And I just ran to the corner and stopped.
What was your last target? The one all the way to the outside?
The inside one against the wall here. So like the target right here is my last inside target. And then I was running, I was running to here to shoot this last one, and I never even shot.
So this is where that was one of the reasons I did the mag drop is when I loaded into this one to the corner. I shot around the wall for the first 2 targets. I shot the one target through the port that you could see, did the mag drop, and I ran to that back right corner and shot that target from there.
So you stayed here. You shot here.
I shot from there, and that let me go up. Yeah, and that let me go to that port and that really hard left lean that you had to get up in there for. That was my ending target.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest time suck. I mean, like, pick your poison on the time suck, right? It's the load, it's the stomp box, it's the front port, or it's that, you know, that most people I saw shoot the stage just, I mean, but, you know, but again, this goes back to stage planning. We talk about the drop turner and are you guaranteed 2 alphas? Well, that swinger is your lowest probability target on this stage. So, like, if you got to skip one because of your skill level, that's the one.
I saw a lot of people skip it even on the super squad, dude.
I wish I would have went for the last one. I still had like 2 seconds left when I stopped. I was just happy to pass chrono. That's all I was worried
Corey,
about when I got to that
Corey.
stage. I was like,
Oh my
really? I
God.
get to shoot for a score? I'm happy.
Uh, the goals that we have, like, guys, if you've never shot with Corey, it's like this the whole time. He's just always happy. He can shoot 6. Like, this is great. I love it. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm on the super squad. He's a
Well,
very
I'm a
fun
little
guy to
jealous
shoot with.
about Chrono. One of my housemates had to shoot open minor because he just missed Chrono with his open gun. And yeah, I don't know. I was nervous all weekend. That was our last stage for the whole match. Chrono and that.
That was our last stage. Yeah. And I was low at Chrono. Were you low too?
Yeah, very 126. I just made it.
Really?
And I shot the
Wow.
same ammo this past weekend and was 134 at Carolina Classic. So I don't know.
Yeah. When I was in Area 8, shot 134 power factor, and then I went to nationals with the same exact load, same everything. How I might even have had some of the ammo left over, and I had 127 at nationals. So I heard a lot of people saying Chrono is very, very low, very low here. How do they decide whether the chrono's on or off? Is it? I don't understand how that rule. Is there a rule? I'm assuming on that, like.
I don't think there is.
So if you're sitting there around a bunch of people,
day to day. I don't think it can vary by more than like 4% from day to day or something like that.
so they don't. So like, I mean, if your chrono sucks
but
and
if
you're dumping a bunch of people out of the match, that sucks.
I agree. Well, 4% is a lot.
If there's a variance day to day, that's a problem. But if it's the same accuracy day to day, it's just 10, hit factor, 10 power factor lower than every other match everybody shot. That's where it's a problem, right? And that's the problem with these optical chronographs that they use is depending on the lighting conditions and how they have it set up, like it can vary tremendously. The opposite problem happened at Dragon's Cup where they did the lab radars, right? Everybody was chronoing higher there to the point that Mike Stoker at Superville actually put out a video talking about like, hey guys, my ammo's not overpowered. Like this is why it was this way, because it's a lab radar and it's taken at the muzzle instead of 10 feet out and all this other stuff, right? But that's the crazy thing is like, Tom, I'm sure you shoot the exact same load and have for years, and you go to these different matches and like you'll see 5, 6, 8, 10 power factor of difference in these ammo, and like nothing changed, right? Like maybe elevation changed a little bit, maybe temperature changed a little bit, depending upon your powder. You could have some temperature fluctuations, but like most powder is pretty stable, and it's all just the chronograph setup that's causing these fluctuations.
Yeah, it's very like I'm with Corey on that. It's a little nerve-wracking when you start hearing stories well before you get there that and dude, you're staying with one of them. That's even worse. That dude's having a trip now, and you're like, oh man, don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. Don't let it be me.
After you turn your ammo, well, I mean, there's nothing you can do once you traveled there. It is what it is. You're shooting with whatever ammo you got, and it is what it is.
So I want to talk a little bit real quick about this stage with the rules. So the rules on this stage, because there was a lot of questions about how this stage worked in the shooting. So in a Virginia count stage, only shoot the required rounds at the required target. So if each target gets 2 shots, you can only shoot 2 shots at it. Okay? So if it's left target, middle target, right target, each gets 2 rounds, you cannot shoot more than 2 rounds at each target. And extra over will be a procedural. And if there's any errors, it's a procedural. For par time stages, it's a little bit different. You treat it like Virginia count because you cannot shoot more than the required rounds on the stage, but you can shoot at the target as many times as you want, as long as you don't go over the number and you only hit it twice. So I'll give you an example. Everybody kept out about how is it Virginia count? It's not Virginia count. So basically, if I was to aim at the swinger and I shot, that stage had 16 rounds and I shot it 16 times and only hit it twice, no penalty. If I hit it all 16 times, I'm going to 14 penalties because of extra hits on that target. I'm not going to get extra penalties for extra shots because I kept it within the 16 rounds. That's the only difference in 2 stages. So my recommendation, guys, is to treat it like your traditional Virginia count stage. Shoot whatever they require at the paper and get it or don't get it, but leave it. That's it. The other thing is in the par time stage, okay? In the par time stage, every miss is a no penalty mic. If you shoot over, you get a penalty. If you shoot extra shots into a target, you get a penalty. But if you don't shoot at it, so a lot of people didn't even shoot at the swinger on that stage or on this stage that I'm showing you right now, they got 2 no penalty mics on that target. Which
another note on the swinger, you don't have to activate them on fixed time stages either. So very different from a Comstock stage where you have to at least activate the target, whether it's disappearing or not. You don't have to even activate here. So yeah, with that awkward stomp box, like if you have no intentions of shooting a swinger or have low confidence of getting 2 alpha on it, don't even step on it.
Right. And a lot of people, I think we had quite a few Corey on our squad that didn't step on that pad at all, did they?
No, I didn't.
Super squad. Yeah, you skipped it. Yeah, I think Freilich left it too, but I was talking to Josh afterwards, like, you didn't step on the pad. He said, I messed up the reload. He messed up his unloaded start. So he's like, I just left it. At that point, he didn't, again, you can't make mistakes when you have 9 seconds.
Yeah, that was a smart move though.
Yeah. Because what happens is you end up wanting to shoot at it when you don't have the time to shoot at it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, or you're going to rush it, shoot extra shots, all those kind of things. So there's a lot there with that. I want to talk a little bit about vendor area. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about the vendor area.
I'll say this. It wasn't no South Carolina sectional championship. That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for that plug, baby. I appreciate you.
I'll send you my Venmo later.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess since he brought it up, I will be working with Todd again this year for the South Carolina sectional vendor area. I'm hopefully going to blow last year's away. I have some big plans this year that I'm going to try to get done. I'm going to try to bring in every gun manufacturer I can get my hands on to actually bring them to the range and shoot. I am not going to put on my own training zone this year. I am going to make that warm-up bay area gigantic, and it should be pretty awesome. I'm bringing in Masterpiece Arms again. I'm hopefully Da Vinci shows back up again. I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to them, but as far as I know of, I'm in talks with Lauren and Phil and Masterpiece Arms to come back and bring all their gear. Outdoor Dynamics, shooting,
Innovation.
Thank you. I always forget I got the shooting part. The shooting innovations make stuff better. I love those guys. So we're hoping that those guys are going to come in this year. I'm going to bring my podcast gear again. I hope to do a lot more podcasts with shooters, even if they're 10-minute clips just about the match and experience. I'd like to talk to some more ROs about what it's like to work staff reset, because we're going to do the same thing, staff reset. Yeah, I just have a lot of different plans that I have for this year. I want to do a little bit better on registration. We're definitely going to do the punch cards again. That really worked well last year. I plan on doing something a little better with those, setting those up. And it looks like we're going to do a cash payout on that match this year. We're still going to do the prizes. We're still going to have the vendors, but it looks like we're going to do a cash payout this year on that match. So should be good. I just submitted 10 stages to Todd and Matt Hopkins. So we'll see how far those go, because they're pretty big. So we'll see how well they go with those stages. They haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but I designed 10 stages for a match that didn't happen. So we'll see. I'm excited. Hopefully those stages get in there. They're pretty.
I've seen those.
They're pretty big. They're pretty good stages, I think. So we'll see. I like building stages,
stages.
Yeah, I already told Todd that I need to back off a little bit so I can spend a little bit more time on my vendor area, because last year I got like 10 minutes to build that thing. It sucked. I was like running around with a chicken with my head cut off. It really sucked. And he's like, well, nobody noticed it. I was like, I did. Like, I noticed all the shit that didn't work. So this year is going to be, I'm already starting to figure it out, and an improvement. So I hope we're going to make it a lot bigger. I hope this year. So Corey, you going to come to that for me? I want to bring you on as a sponsor too, bro.
Yep. I've been there for the last 2 years. Awesome. Shot the match. That's a great match. Great, March warm-up match for the season.
Yeah.
So I'll be there for sure.
Yeah. I want to bring you on as a sponsor this year if I can.
Yeah.
So I'll let you piggyback off the Da Vinci 10 if they want to. So I'll just double his rate, and then you can piggyback off of him.
There you go.
So before we end the podcast, All right, I want to talk about vendor stuff real quick before I get into that. So since we brought up South Carolina, the thing I'm not understanding, I'm not going to talk about it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it because they're not listening. It's not worth it, baby.
No.
Okay. So before we get off the podcast, I want to bring up something that I don't think I've talked about yet today. Every single person here that is on this podcast is either involved in business or sponsored by Mr. David Padavan from Da Vinci Machining. So, and I didn't intentionally bring everybody on because we're all sponsored by Da Vinci. I brought everybody on because we're all friends and we all shot the same match. And it just happens to be that we all shoot the same gun.
You do.
So I've been with David longer than anybody. I've been shooting his gun for 5 years. I met him 5 years ago when I started, and he was still making pistol grips. He still does, but he was not the manufacturer he is today. It was pretty cool to step back and look at all the Da Vinci jerseys all throughout nationals. Like all 3 days, I would walk by and see somebody I'd never seen before shooting a Da Vinci. And to know that I was part of that, maybe not the guy who sold the gun, that's not what I'm saying, but the fact that I helped put that gun on the map and watch other shooters experience the same amazing product that I was able to shoot for 5 years now. I still have the prototype gun. Like I have an off-colored magwell that I helped design because his first magwell was Trizash. It looked awesome, but it reloaded like shit. It was a banana. It literally felt like you were loading an AR or an AK. It was terrible. I was like, bro, I jammed the mag in at an angle like this, and then I would go, and then finish it. I was like, this thing, we got to fix this. So
sounds like a loaded MPX.
Oh, it was exactly like that, except there was a gap where the bullet would get jammed underneath the magwell and the frame of the gun. And I was like, oh, this is just, we got to work on this. So, I mean, we probably went through 4 or 5 of them, but I looked at my gun the other day and I'm like, I have a bunch of off-colored parts. Like all my shit's like, I had the very first original extended mag release, still the original one. So like 4 years of beating the shit out of that gun and it still runs, right? Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. It's really cool to kind of look back and see everybody shooting this gun now. I mean, I'm seeing people up north, West Coast, East Coast. I'm like, man, everybody's getting a chance to see this gun now. It's really cool.
The number of Da Vincis I saw at Carolina were tremendous. Like there were, it was a lot. Happy to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to watch. It's just like all these jerseys. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like how many people were buying? They get free. They get a free gun with a jersey purchase or what? What the shit?
There's a lot of Da Vinci jerseys here, man. That's pretty interesting.
And not just here. I mean, they're international too. I think, you know, there's a lot of IPSC shooters shooting Da Vincis.
Yeah. It's nice to see that, you know, his work, his precision work. That guy, well, I don't know about an investment because he's probably still poor from making that investment with all the machines.
Right.
Yeah, Corey, you know,
but
you do machining for a living.
Like he's investing in the sport too. And
for sure.
Like, oh, look,
yes,
the sport.
I think that is a great point, Christina. He has definitely invested.
That's the thing that brought me over. My home built guns that I used for years, loved them, had the best of the best parts. David offers, you know, having options from the factory, tremendous. Like you can't get that with a JP. JP is a great gun, but like here it is. Which one, you know, you can have the ultralight or the standard. You don't get to choose anything else. He offers you tons of options, but he's also investing in the sport, and that's huge. I want to support the people that are supporting me. So, you know, not directly, but like the fact that he's investing in USPSA and IDPA and all these other matches to support the shooting sports is a big part of it.
I think it was
I don't think I've ever seen a JP tent.
I was just gonna say that I haven't. It's pretty disappointing to see that the only sponsor for PCC to show up was David Padavan.
Yeah,
like absolutely no support. No support for our sport.
I think I saw a JP tent at the standalone PCC Nationals back in 2020 at Frostproof, and that's the only time.
Yeah, and actually that wasn't even a tent. That was a table.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? It was a table. You're right.
That
But
was
they were there.
was,
They
yeah.
had demo guns and ammo. So like, I will give them that. Right. Like that's. But
Oh.
I haven't seen a lot since then.
All right, let's talk about the prize package for the prize table this year. What did you guys think of the prize table?
It was awful compared to last year.
I agree. I was 10th place and I walked away with an optic. Like, I was like, what the shit? Like, there's not enough. I mean,
Yeah, you should have had a gun, right?
I don't know. I will say that I think that the open guys got a much better. Yeah.
There were, for sure. Like, I saw dudes walking off the PCC line in 4th or 5th, and they had like that DR 920 Glock clone thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
that's pretty.
See, 21st place. I got one of those sweet S3 range cards, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
I
don't need a cart.
about that.
I need a gun, Corey. I don't need a cart, bro.
Yeah,
what the hell? I want something that goes pew pew. I don't want something that I get a flat tire on. No, I'm just kidding. I already have a cart like that. So that's why I was like, I saw that. Actually, I almost took that just because I knew you wanted it. And I would have sold it for a better price to you, but no. So yeah, have you used that cart yet?
No, I don't. I haven't turned in my cert yet.
Okay. Was it a free cart or was it a discount?
It was like $500. So it'll be the cart.
Okay, nice. That's cool.
It may be a couple accessories. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
I was talking with them
Yo,
about
you should get with Gil.
Steel World Series. So we'll see what it ends up working out as.
Nice. That's cool. That's awesome, man. That's actually a pretty good price. So that's a usable price. I remember what was it? Not last year. I think it was towards the end of one of the years that I was walking the thing and I was like, huh, they have clay throwers, like literally like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, this is awesome. Like it's like a participation prize. Like here's your keychain. Thank you for coming to nationals. Like what the shit?
I mean, a prize is a prize and that's great. But the fact that they were better last year, like what happened between last year and this year? Like, was it the match just supported less or like, I don't know.
I heard there's some, I heard there's some breakdown in relationships.
I mean, I don't want to, I mean, we're quickly stepping into the political spectrum of USPSA, but I mean, that's the vibe I get as well.
And it sucks.
Oh, speaking of something political, I want to mention it. All those great stages, you notice there's no stage designer noted on them? What's up? Like, there's people behind those stages and it's not the match director. And they got no recognition. I know Kyle Stevens designed some of those stages and like a couple other people had their hands in it, not the usual people, and they got no credit for it. I don't like that. There's usually a stage designer noted on every stage, especially at nationals, and it usually says Jake underneath.
Very good point. Very good point.
It's not there. Who did that?
This is where I don't comment. Whatever. We're growing. We're growing big. Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't want to talk about vendor stuff too much. So yeah, it's just an interesting scenario where I don't shoot a lot of PCC anymore. And this is part of the reason why. We don't really get treated too well when we shoot it. Right. We're kind of treated like shit. We're treated like a redheaded stepchild, even though we brought 150 or 160 shooters. So I don't understand exactly how that, I mean, why didn't the entire match sell out with open shooters if it was, if no one else wanted to shoot rifle? It doesn't make sense. Some of this stuff, like we put something in the sport and then we go and say, oh, well, we don't really like it, but we put it in here anyway. Like what it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, we had the president, however many ago it was, we had Foley who put it in the sport, was super excited about it, loved it, puts it in. And then a year or two later had enough haters to tell that he says, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have put it in. Why? Did we not bring shooters in? Do we not have people? Craig shoots the sport because of PCC. He doesn't shoot anything else. He has no desire to shoot anything else. He's told me a million times. He goes, bro, I love shooting PCC. He goes, I love shooting rifle.
Yeah.
I have the most fun doing it too.
Yeah.
So
what got me into it.
my first USPSA match was actually Carrier Optics 10, which was pretty terrible, not very fun. But quickly into PCC within a month or two after that, and I've been shooting this ever since.
I don't understand why why do you hate it? Like, to me, it's like, have
I
more
think
people in,
people
that come in.
People have different expectations about what PCC should be. They think PCC, because it's a rifle, should be a long range competition, 60-yard swingers and stuff like that, like they tried to do with the standalone nationals.
No,
for me, that's not the challenge. For me, it's run and gun, it's close quarters maneuvering of the rifle.
Of course,
yeah.
Shooting fast and moving fast.
Yeah,
and if the sport ever, if USPSA got away from that, it wouldn't be as enjoyable for me.
Correct. And the question is why people get upset? Like, listen, I'm not shooting your division. So it's like, you're racing against the open guys, I'm racing against PCC guys. What's the difference?
You got the guys looking at overall at their local match. There's definitely hurt feelings there. But I think the other thing is stage designers, the guys that don't like carbine specifically, they get into this rut of like, I'm going to design a stage to stick it to PCC, and they end up just making a match that's terrible for everybody.
Correct.
Like, what division PCC gets paired with at nationals has been a big stink for the last couple of years. But you know what? At area matches and state matches, nobody's complaining about shooting all the same stages with a carbine.
Exactly.
It's only when people target stage designs based on that it becomes a problem.
Yep. No.
So
agreed.
the standalone nationals for PCC was the worst freaking.
I agree. Well, it was my first, right? So it was the very first nationals I ever shot. It was terrible for a couple of reasons. Number one, the stage designs were just terrible.
It was three gun.
It didn't really challenge PCC in the way PCC was played at that time. It was only a 12 stage match. It was still $300.
Oh my God, I forgot about that, dude.
Oh my God.
Two-day 12 stage match. You know, it's not like Frostproof didn't have the bays available.
Yeah, right.
They had a ton of space. Yeah.
Everything was low ports. Well, okay. So do you know why? You do understand that they grouped that they had 3-gun right before it, and the 3-gun match then went into our match. The 3-gun finished and then went into our match the weekend after. So they doubled up those matches to help with staff or whatever it is. I hated that match. I actually, right then and there was when I quit shooting rifle. That was when I quit shooting. That match was when I stopped shooting PCC from that point on, because I was like, I hate this match. It was all low ports, and I had actually jacked my knee up. Like, I was fat, obviously, at that time as well, but I had jacked my knee up from coming in and out of all those low ports. I was like, I will never shoot this again if it's not a USPSA style match. I do not want to shoot 3-gun. I have no desire to shoot 3-gun. I have no desire to shoot long distance with my PCC. I want to shoot fast. They don't 25. Like, I thought this match this year for nationals was perfect. Like, obviously not perfect, but when it comes to the stages, it had such a great flow to them. The stages had a good variety. Like zone 1, I really don't understand why every nationals, though, has to have one amazing zone and 2 okay zones, or one shit zone and 1 mediocre zone. I don't understand why we can't keep that flow going. Like, all the bigger stages were better. They were all good stages this year at nationals. So instead of the double bays just to get numbers, okay, why aren't we looking at just doing bigger stages? You need less staff. So if we did a 15 stage nationals or an 18 stage nationals to where you get rid of the, I don't know, maybe it's just, again, I'm not building the match, so it's really hard for me to sit here and go, do this, do that, because I don't know the logistics of what they have to go through right now.
Dude, I'm with you 100%. Until CMP adds their additional bays, I'd rather see 15 spectacular field courses than the double bays just to hit a number.
Yeah. And that's what it feels. And that's the problem is this year, like you said earlier in the podcast, I agree. This year was the best that they did with the those double stages. They felt like part of the match and not like, oh, we just need shit. So it felt good to shoot those stages. But again, I remember walking up to these stages and going, these are so boring compared to what we just left from zone 1, right? Like, even the double bay in zone 1 where they had the swinger and the 2 ports, like, I walked away from that stage going, That was a fucking 9-second stage. Like, I paid $300 to come to this match and I shot 9 seconds. Like, this is shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
So do you think that the shorter stages are to make it more IPSC-like?
well,
I mean, as we get towards
1,000,000% no.
nationals, we should be getting towards more IPSC, I would think.
No. 1,000,000% no, dude. I highly doubt if we wanted to be more like IPSC, we would not have had the stages that we had in this match.
Yeah, you'd have short, medium, and long.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, you wouldn't have had long. Okay, double bay. The double bay is just to fill in the numbers. Does that make sense? Like, that's just all there is to it. There's nothing they can do about it at that range. They're trying to hit a certain number of stages. And again, you have to look at 6, 6, and 6. One of the best parts of nationals is 3 days of just absolute mental warfare. Like, if we were done on day 1, I would have been like, cool, I had a good nationals. If we were done on day 2, I'd be like, man, I had a good nationals. Day 3, I didn't have a good nationals, right? Like, it's
the multi-day and the consistency is the important part. Whether that's 6 stages per rotation or only 5, that doesn't change the dynamic tremendously.
Right. And that's, again, if you give me 5 stages, right? You give me 5 stages of giant hard work. I got to shoot 32 round stages. Like, think about it. Dump those small stages and make them all 32 round stages. Or even 28 round stages. You dump the little bullshit stages, there's your round count. You're getting just as much shooting. You're getting just as much shooting. It's just in big stages. They have the bays, but again, you're looking at a numbers game that, because a lot of people will sit down and play this game of, well, how much should I pay per stage? Well, that's outrageous. Well, that's unfortunately how people look at their numbers. They look at a local price and they go, well, $20 for 6 stages. That's not bad. And then they go, oh, $300 for a major.
I do think we do need to be preparing for the world stage at our nationals. And that's where medium and short courses belong in there too. Not the mandatory stuff, because does IPSC have that mandatory reloads? Is that a thing?
They have
I've never shot IPSC. That's Craig's territory.
They have standard stages, absolutely.
I was gonna say, Craig, I'm gonna need a crash course for IPSC nationals in the extreme.
Take as many sites as you want.
Yeah.
But we should be, we should
make sure you run out of the fault lines.
Load your bags all the way up. Yep.
Craig, give them the good. That way you got your chance.
Use Leah Grandis's drum mag. You can have that. The 54 round drum mag. Or whatever.
Only fill it with 10 rounds though.
You're just fine.
100 grain bullets. Yep.
Yeah. Make sure you put a lot of, PCC is a little bit different, but I know carry optics, you cannot mess with the gun very much. Like, you can't change. Like, I have a stippled grip on my my main gun that I use. I have a backup gun that I will not put tape or anything on until I find out what's going on at nationals this year. Because if you put any stippling on it, you can't use the gun. Like, you can't stipple the grip. You can't put glued on the silicone, the epoxy. You have to leave it pretty much stock, and you can put skate tape on it, which we all know how skate tape works. That shit falls off real easy. So especially in a sweaty Florida, but it's just, they have a lot of stipulations when it comes to what you do with your gun.
It's a trigger and that's it.
No, there's a lot. On what?
No. There's more.
That's what you're allowed to mess with is trigger, and that's about it.
Oh, you can't mess with that either. You got to have, like, if you shot a shadow.
Well, you can, but they have minimum pull weights for.
They have an assembly line with pull weights and stuff. But like PCC, like, I mean, and all the pistol guys, like, look at your belt. There's a form you fill out. Your mag's got to be in the same spot, and each stage they check your stuff off, and you can't change stuff around. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's, I mean,
Christina shot for IPSC was like the ultimate shit show of IPSC matches. So now she thinks all IPSC matches are just trash. And I'm like, look, they're not all that way. You just happen to run into a bad situation where they didn't have staff. They were dealing with, I don't know, that match was delayed for 5 years or 4 years or 3 years. That match was well before COVID and never happened. And then
hopefully they've got it figured out. So
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nationals was a little bit different. I'm not sure
There's people that aren't they're like, I'm not coming down for that trash. Like there's like really good shooters. They're just like, I don't think that's going to be worth it.
That's a qualifying match. So I guess they're not that good serious to shooters because.
Well, no, not for nationals, for extreme. For the extreme.
Yeah. I'm talking about extreme. I'm sure nationals will be fine.
All I'm going to tell you about extreme is I need to sign up for that. I didn't even think about that. I'm definitely going to go to that because there's not a lot of opportunities to get 30 stages to work your brain. Like that's 30 stages of work through. I don't care about I'm not there for the staff. I'm there for my shooting, right? Like obviously you don't want the staff to affect your shooting, but everybody who comes up with all these excuses to why they don't like this sport is amazing. I do this for me. I do this to shoot, right? Yes, the ROs can ruin your time, but I'm not here for the freaking RO. I'm here to go shoot. So I want to get an opportunity to go shoot 30 stages. I'm going to that match. Like, I don't care what people think.
The ROs did good, but the stages were
Welcome to IPSC. This is why when you said you want to have the nationals like the world shoot, get ready, girl, because it sucks. There's small, medium, and long. So
I don't think the world shoot sucks.
Trust me. Ask the guys that went. If it wasn't for it being a world shoot, they didn't have fun on those stages. Ask them. A lot of those guys were like, man, yeah, there was only one stage plan and we all had to run it the same exact way. You think they all like that? Probably not. But it's a world shoot. So you get pumped up for a world shoot because you got a chance to win a world title. Again, most people don't complain about the shit that these people want to complain about all the time. It's like, oh, that stage wasn't good. Okay, cool. Well, I got another 29 to like. It's like, holy shit. You're not going to like all the stages. I know at Nationals this year, not every single stage that they put out there I loved. But I guess what? I liked shooting them. I enjoyed them. They were a challenge. I think they had a good flow this year. It's just, I don't know, man. It just seems like everybody wants to fucking find something to bitch about now in this sport. It's unbelievable. I didn't get into this sport for the politics. I don't give a shit about the board of directors anymore. I care about shooting. The only time you're going to see me give a shit about the board of directors at this point is if this sport goes away. But all right, guys, do you have anything else you want to put out? Craig, give me something. Craig's tired. He's got to go to bed.
I got to teach tomorrow.
Old lady. I'm going to find a little red.
Sounds like retirement to me.
That's right.
I'm very happy and proud to be sponsored by Da Vinci. David and Adriana are awesome. I don't want to go too far into the whole thing with the vendor area, but it should be better. And like, there shouldn't be people, I'm not mentioning no names. There shouldn't be people that were there at the vendor area, vendors saying that they don't want to come back, or it wasn't that great. So I'm upset about that. And I'm happy to be sponsored by Steel Valley Casting bullets. They're a great bullet for my PCC. I'm happy to have the great friends that you guys I do in the sport. I try to stay out of a lot of the politics, as well. Because listen, you can always find stuff to complain about, man. You can find stuff to complain about for every single thing, but we're supposed to be doing this for fun. This is supposed to be a hobby, So anyway, that's all I want to say.
I didn't like how dirty the range was, by the way. I want more grass and pristine. Like I want you to wash my car when I leave and everything. I was really upset. I left Alabama with a dirty rental car.
It was pretty dusty. Yeah.
It was dusty as shit this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe it's because it didn't rain this year, so that was good. I'm not going to complain about that. All right, Jason, go.
Yeah, man, same match was like I said, one of the best I've shot, or not the best I've shot. It was a terrible match for me, but like the opportunity to shoot a great match was there. I just didn't execute. Also want to thank David and Adriana at Da Vinci. Not only do I enjoy shooting their products, they're just great people to hang out with, man. So that was one of the highlights of my nationals, was getting to go out and hang out with them for a little bit after hours and enjoy a nice dinner. So yeah, that's what it's all about for me, is the relationships, the friends that you make. You're not always going to shoot great, but meeting good people and hanging out with good people at the range is what this is all about.
Awesome, man. Christina.
Once again, best nationals yet. I hope they keep the same people involved with stages that they did this year and don't switch back to old nonsense. Whoever you are, if you're shooting PCC, I'm coming for your ass. And because I only have this direction to go, and that's the direction I'm going to keep going in.
Woo! She's sending
And
it.
thank you, Outdoor Dynamics, for supporting me, and DaVinci and Hunters HD Gold. They're all the best of the best, and they're going to help get me to the top.
I love how she drops the shit talk and then goes right into, hi, I want to thank all my sponsors. That's awesome. Let's go. Guys, that is the real Christina, just so you know. Look, she's like, ooh.
Ooh. Worked out before this podcast. It's gonna get fierce.
It's swolled up.
It's swolled up.
All right, Corey, go. I don't know how you're gonna follow that, bro. You gotta talk some mad shit. Talk some shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, do it, Corey.
Call Max Leograndis out. Tell him you're gonna work him up next year.
Hey,
Tell him.
this is Corey talking shit. I'm just happy to be here.
And falling steel. I'm pretty good at standing and shooting. So
Corey, did you hear Craig? Craig, tell him.
Like, this is Corey talking shit. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just having a great time. Just happy to be
here. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it's like. It's so great.
And he'll lay them out too. He'll lay a lot of people. I mean, he laid a lot of people down this match too. You should be proud.
Fun. All right, go ahead, Corey. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no. I've got I have to thank David and Adriano DaVinci, Code Evolution, Outdoor Dynamics. That's pretty much the people that are helping me out. I do have my next Falling Steel World Series match coming up next month, October 20th to 22nd at Rowan County Wildlife Association in North Carolina. It's the same place that Area 6 is at. We got cash prizes and a bunch of sponsored prizes, and it's a fun time. Shoot 7 stages of Falling Steel in about 3 hours. So it's real quick, get you in and out. And yeah, that's about all I have to say.
When is that match?
October 20th to 22nd. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's all falling steel, all hinged plates, about 30 plates per stage, 7 stages. Yeah, cash prizes.
Is that USPSA style, or is it more like stand and shoot, like Steel Challenge style?
It's like Steel Challenge style. You're standing behind a table.
Gotcha.
To shoot them down.
But it's like 30 plates instead of 5.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, 30 plates. They're all hinged, poppers, and plate racks. So nothing's like falling off of rebar or anything like that. Everything you just tip back up. Everything stays calibrated. So
that's
works
cool.
pretty good. Fun
That's
time.
awesome.
Hey, it's late for me. I'm going to butt back in. I forgot to throw out to my Break Arms guys, and of course Brian at Hunters and Jason at Brass Monkey.
Nice.
I'm
That's
slacking
awesome.
here.
Yeah.
Hey, and that shield, I like that shield buffer system too. It'd be running good.
I was just going to yell at Corey for not talking about his buffer. What the hell are you doing?
Corey, why didn't you say anything about your dang buffer? It's one of the best in the business.
Because he's just happy happy to be here.
Yep, just happy to be here. Yep, no, we got the Gen 2 buffer out now.
That should be on a t-shirt.
All right, hold on. Stop.
So,
Gotta let Corey finish, because Corey's just getting drowned out with all us trash talking him about how nice he is all the time. All right, Corey, go. Make a sale. Make a sale. I want to sell me your product right now.
Yeah, so I've got the Gen 2 roller delayed PCC buffer out right now. Turns a lot of your Charlies into alphas. Gun pretty much just shoots itself. But I've converted a lot of guns. A lot of DaVincis come with them, but I've converted a lot of the GMRs, the Lead Stars, the MBX. Yeah, so pretty much anything blowback we can convert to roller delayed, make it shoot a lot softer.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, a lot of all you guys use the same buffer, right?
I do. I love that shield buffer.
I'm the stand-up.
Yeah. I am also. I shoot the JP from 5 years ago. I'm just not much of a tinkerer, bro. It has nothing to do with your product. I'm one of those guys that's like, this shit's worked for a long time. I'm just gonna roll with this. And then I probably need to spend some time messing around a little bit with your stuff, because I just haven't spent any time with it. So it's like every time I pick up the rifle up, get ready for a match, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna figure it out now. So I probably do need to spend some time with it, because if Christina likes it and Craig's like it, I'm probably going to hate it because they suck. So no, I'm just kidding.
But the best thing about that buffer is you could change stuff out at the range, and you don't like it, you could change stuff out.
Hold on. I got to actually tell you something, because I forgot to talk to you about this when we were at Nationals. I meant to tell you this. I had a student in Michigan, and I shot his gun. He was left-handed, so it was a left-handed gun. He had your buffer system in, and whatever his combination was with ammo and buffer system, or your buffer system, whatever his spring weight or whatever he put in there, with the ammo, I was like, this is like shooting a BB gun. Like it didn't move. I actually couldn't tell if the gun was going off, like sound, like it was so quiet. And I was like, okay, I might need to give this a look. But I thought I was getting ready for national, so I didn't get a chance. But I was like, so he was like, it's a heavy spring. I was like, look, I don't care. Don't tell me. I don't want to know because I won't remember. We'll talk about it later. But I was like, this thing shoots like a BB gun. And he was just like, yeah, man, it shoots really well. And he got it obviously from David. He was my student and I sent him, and he got set up with your buffer system in it. But I was like, okay, I got to look at this thing seriously because it was very, very smooth shooting. So I forgot to tell you that at nationals because I haven't shot a lot of your buffers. And I was just like, that one, I was just like, dude, all right, this might be worth a changeover. So again, like I said, I don't change around a lot, so it's got to be worth it. But just figured I'd give you a little props on your work there, man. It's pretty awesome. You created a business out of this. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
So I know what it's like to do that. I know what it's like to do that in the shooting industry. That's why it's important for vendor area at matches to help out the manufacturers and the vendors that put money into our sport, into our shooters. Wink, wink, just in case you're not watching the video. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. You have anything else? Anybody? No? Christina, you got any fitness line clothing or anything you got to put out there? Or no, nothing?
Well, I mean, I love the apparel from Florida Spear. Some good lightweight stuff. If you're looking to get on a boat or stay dry.
What's your favorite wine company? You sponsor with them yet?
What's that?
You got a wine sponsor yet?
No, not yet.
You know what I'm going to hook you up with? I got an idea. I'm going to call Timex and see if they can get you a watch that actually gets you there on time.
It would have to be one that gives her electric shocks.
It's a shock collar.
It's got to give her electric shocks.
I don't think it's going to work.
It probably wouldn't work.
I don't think it's going to work, dude. It doesn't matter. She's not going to listen to it anyway.
You just get used to it.
You just get used to it. Oh, that's amazing. I love how only Craig and I are dying over here because the other two are like, if I say anything, she's going to kick my ass. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining me. Had a good time as always. I guess next time maybe we should see each other more at nationals. I barely saw Christina. Jason, I only saw you guys as you were passing.
Yeah, I barely saw you two. Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I stayed in the same hotel with Craig and Corey. I saw him every day because he shot on my squad, but it was crazy. I was like, I'm looking around for everybody and I'm like, I don't even see anybody at this match. It was kind of an interesting different schedule being on that squad. So for sure. But all right, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up and I'll see you on the range. Here at ProShock Products, our mission is to provide American-made quality products for all your firearms. We are a family-owned company of outdoor shooting sports products, sport shooting, hunting, and defense products, to name a few. We are proud to be an American-made company since 1982 and will continue to support all your firearm maintenance needs.